Hi, this is Cheating Wife. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this story. Your support motivates me to share even more real stories from our life. And don't forget to leave a comment. I'll be really happy to read your thoughts. I never thought I'd find myself sitting in that cafe, staring at the person I once called the love of my life, and realizing that almost everything she told me had been a lie. I never thought I would be in that position, watching her phone light up with messages from other guys while she begged me to take her back. And I never thought that the end of our story would feel both pathetic and freeing at the same time. But I guess that's what happens when you realize you've been cheated on by not just one, not two, but 4 or more other boys. And that's where this story really begins. I met her in what I thought was the most ordinary way. Through a friend of a friend, we ended up talking at a small party. She had this magnetic energy, the kind of presence where everyone wanted to be near her. She was funny, quick with her words, and had this mischievous smile that made you feel like you were in on some secret with her. We ended up talking for hours that night about random things, about stupid things even, but somehow it felt like it all mattered. When I went home that night, I remember lying in bed with my phone in my hand, grinning like an idiot because she had texted me, "Hey, tonight was fun. Let's do it again." And just like that, I was hooked. Over the next few weeks, we started spending more and more time together. Movie nights, coffee dates, long walks around the city even when it was freezing cold. I thought I was living inside one of those cheesy rom-coms where everything feels too good to be true. Except, as I learned later, sometimes when it feels too good to be true, it actually is. At first, there were no warning signs. She was attentive, sweet, and always wanted to talk. She would send me good morning messages, tell me she missed me when I was at work, and we'd stay on late night calls until one of us fell asleep. She seemed perfect, maybe too perfect. But when you're in love, you don't think about whether it's too perfect. You just think you're lucky. One night, I was at her apartment. We were sitting on the couch watching some old Netflix show she liked. Her phone buzzed on the table, and I glanced at it. The notification preview just said, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, winky face," with a heart emoji. My stomach twisted. I tried to ignore it. I didn't want to be that boyfriend who snoops through her stuff or questions every little thing. But she noticed me glancing and quickly grabbed the phone. "Oh, that's just my friend," she said, smiling like it was nothing. I remember forcing a laugh and saying, "Yeah, okay." But in my head, the seed of doubt was planted. Fast forward a few months, things started to feel off. She became harder to reach. Texts that used to get instant replies now sat delivered for hours. Calls that used to go late into the night now ended quickly with excuses like, "I'm tired," or "I have a lot of work." When I asked if everything was okay, she would get defensive. "Why are you so paranoid? Don't you trust me?" And I'd back down, feeling guilty for even asking. Looking back now, I realized those were red flags. But at the time, I was blinded by how much I wanted it to work. The first real crack in the foundation happened when one of my buddies pulled me aside. We were out grabbing drinks, and he looked at me like he didn't even want to say it. "Listen, man," he said quietly, "I don't know how to tell you this, but I saw your girlfriend the other night." I laughed nervously. "Okay? And she wasn't alone." My smile faded. "What do you mean?" "She was with some guy. They were holding hands." My chest felt like it had been punched. I immediately started making excuses in my head. Maybe it was her cousin. Maybe he saw it wrong. Maybe there's a logical explanation. But deep down, I knew. That night, when I confronted her, she laughed it off. "Oh my God, you're so dramatic," she said, rolling her eyes. "He's just a friend. You really need to stop overthinking everything." And like a fool, I believed her. Because believing her meant I didn't have to face the possibility that everything I had was fake. But the universe has a funny way of shoving the truth in your face. One evening, she called me crying. She said she was sorry, that she had messed up, that she had been confused. I didn't understand what she was trying to say at first. And then she admitted it. She had kissed someone else. "Just a mistake," she said, her voice shaking. "It didn't mean anything. Please, don't leave me." I should have walked away right then. I should have known that if she did it once, she could do it again. But my stupid heart didn't want to let go. So I forgave her, and that was the beginning of my slow downfall. Things got worse from there. The lies became more frequent, but so did the apologies. She would swear she only wanted me, and then I'd hear whispers from friends about seeing her with someone else. Every time she had an excuse ready. Every time, I wanted so badly to believe her that I chose to ignore the truth. Until the day I realized I wasn't the only one she was juggling. Not two, not three, but for different guys. For other guys she was flirting with, messaging, and in some cases outright dating while she was still with me. The realization didn't hit me all at once. Came in pieces, like when her phone buzzed while she was in the shower, and I accidentally saw the name Babe Redheart pop up. Or when she told me she couldn't hang out because she was studying. But I later saw pictures of her at a bar with another guy. Or when she slipped up and accidentally called me by the wrong name. The worst part? I wasn't even angry at first. I was heartbroken because I had given her everything. My time, my love, my trust. And she treated it like it meant nothing. When I finally had enough, I blocked her everywhere. Her number, her social media, everything. I told myself it was over, but that's when the emails started. Please, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. You're the only one I love. And when I didn't respond, she started going through my friends. She would text them, beg them to convince me to meet her. First, I ignored it, but eventually, I got so tired of the constant messages that I gave in. I agreed to meet her at a cafe just to get closure. Sitting there across from her was surreal. She cried, telling me how wrong she had been. She swore she didn't even like the other guys, that they meant nothing. And then, as if to prove just how much she was lying, her phone lit up right there on the table. A message from one of them. I looked at her, and she looked back at me with tears in her eyes. Please, just give me one more chance, she whispered. And for the first time, I didn't feel tempted. I just felt done. Walking out of that cafe should have been the end. It should have been the final chapter, the last time I ever saw her. But of course, life doesn't work that way. She had one more card to play, and I was stupid enough to fall into it. After that meeting, I ignored her again. I told myself that seeing her beg, seeing her lies fall apart in front of me, was enough closure. But only a week later, she found another way to reach me. She showed up outside my work. I remember the moment clearly. I walked out of the building, ready to head home, when I saw her standing by the corner, her hair tied up, wearing that same leather jacket I once loved on her. For a second, my chest tightened because even after everything, she still looked like the girl I fell for. "Hey," she said softly, as if nothing had happened. I froze. "What are you doing here?" I needed to see you. Please, just for a few minutes." I should have walked away. Instead, I sighed and said, "Fine, 5 minutes." We ended up at a small diner nearby. She stirred her coffee nervously, avoiding my eyes. Finally, she looked up and said, "I know I've messed up, but I need you to understand. None of those guys matter to me. You're the only one I ever really loved." I almost laughed. "Loved? You had 4 other boyfriends. Do you even hear yourself?" Her eyes watered. They were mistakes. I was lost, I was stupid. Please, just give me one more chance. I shook my head. I don't think there's anything left to save. But then she leaned forward and whispered, "Come with me, just for tonight. I have something special to show you." Every rational part of me screamed to say no. But curiosity, or maybe the tiniest leftover piece of hope, made me hesitate. "What could you possibly have to show me?" I asked. "You'll see," she said with that same mischievous smile that had hooked me from the start. And like a fool, I agreed. We drove to her place in silence. The car ride felt suffocating. I kept staring out the window, wondering what the hell I was doing. When we finally pulled up outside her apartment, she grabbed my hand. "Please, just trust me," she whispered. I followed her inside. The place looked the same as I remembered. Messy, cluttered, with little pieces of her life scattered everywhere. She led me down the hallway to her bedroom. As soon as we stepped inside, I knew what was happening. Candles lit around the room. Soft music playing from her speaker. Her bed neatly made for once. She turned to me, biting her lip. "I just want to show you how much you mean to me," she said, and then she reached for my shirt. "Stop," I muttered, stepping back. She froze, blinking in surprise. "What? Don't you want this?" "No," I said firmly. "This isn't going to fix anything." She frowned, her voice turning sharp. "So you'd rather just leave me? After everything we've been through? After everything you put me through?" I corrected. Her eyes narrowed, and for the first time I saw the mask slip. The sweet, apologetic girl was gone. What stood in front of me was someone desperate, manipulative, and angry at losing control. "You don't understand," she hissed. "You're the only one who ever made me feel real. They don't matter. It's you. It's always been you." "Then why were there so many of them?" I snapped. Her mouth opened, then closed. She didn't have an answer. I turned toward the door. "I'm done. I can't do this anymore." She rushed forward, grabbing my arm. "Please don't go. Please. I'll change. I'll prove it." I pulled free and shook my head. "It's too late." And then I walked out. The next few days were brutal. I felt hollow, like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left only emptiness. I kept replaying everything in my head. The first time we met, the way she used to laugh, the lies, the way she tried to seduce me, as if that could erase the pain. But the worst part was the messages. Even after that night, she wouldn't stop. Emails, calls from unknown numbers, messages sent through mutual friends. Every single one of them saying the same thing: "I'm sorry. I love you. Please come back." I ignored her, but deep down it still tore at me, because even though I knew she was lying, part of me still missed her. One evening, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. It was a photo. Her, sitting on her bed, holding up a sign that said, "Please forgive me." I threw my phone across the room. I couldn't take it anymore. That weekend, I finally met up with one of my friends who had been watching all of this unfold. He looked at me and shook his head. "Dude, you've got to cut her off for good. She's toxic." "I know," I sighed. "Then why do you keep letting her pull you back in?" I didn't have an answer. Later that night, I got another email from her. This one was different. It wasn't begging. It was angry. "If you won't give me another chance, you'll regret it. You think you can just leave me after everything? You're mine." Reading that, something inside me finally snapped. I realized this wasn't love anymore. This was control. This was obsession. And I wanted nothing to do with it. The last time I saw her was weeks later. She showed up one final time, waiting outside my building. Her face was pale, her eyes red from crying. She didn't say anything at first. She just looked at me. Finally, she whispered, "You really won't give me another chance, will you?" "No," I said quietly. "It's over." She nodded slowly, like she finally understood. Then she turned and walked away. And that was it. The end of a relationship that had once felt like a dream, but turned into a nightmare. Looking back now, I don't feel anger anymore. I don't even feel sadness. I just feel relief. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's moving on. It's letting karma do its work. If the story ended there, with her walking away outside my building, it might have been easier. But like every chapter before, she wasn't done yet. And neither was my journey to finally letting go. 2 weeks passed in silence. No emails, no calls, no texts through friends. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe again. I started going out more. I met up with friends I had ignored during the relationship. I even picked up old hobbies I had abandoned. It felt strange, almost like I was remembering who I used to be before her. But just when I thought I was safe, the storm came back. It was a Friday night when I got the knock on my door. At first, I thought it was just a delivery. But when I opened it, there she was, standing there with tears running down her face. "Please," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Please just listen to me." My stomach dropped. "I told you it's over," I said firmly. She shook her head. "No, you don't understand. I can't live without you. I messed up, I know, but I need you. You're the only one who makes me feel alive. I felt a wave of exhaustion wash over me. This wasn't love. This was desperation. Go home, I muttered. She stepped forward, almost falling into my apartment. Please just give me one night. One night to prove that I've changed. I held the door. No, I'm not doing this again. Her eyes darkened. If you walk away from me now, don't be surprised if I do something you regret. The threat hung in the air. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just toxic. It was dangerous. The next day, I told my close friends everything. One of them said, "Man, you've got to protect yourself. This isn't normal. She's unstable." Another said, "Block her on everything. Change your number if you have to. Don't let her drag you back." For once, I listened. I blocked her on every possible platform. I told my friends not to give her any information about me, and I made a promise to myself. I wouldn't answer no matter what. Of course, that didn't stop her from trying. A week later, one of my coworkers pulled me aside. "Hey, this is weird, but some girl showed up here asking about you." I froze. What did she look like? He described her perfectly. I sighed. If she comes back, don't give her any information. Please. It was humiliating. The girl who once swore she loved me was now stalking me. Then came the final straw. Late one night, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I shouldn't have answered, but I did. Her voice came through the line, trembling. "I just wanted to say goodbye." My heart skipped. "What are you talking about? I can't keep living like this. Without you, there's nothing. So, this is it." Panic surged through me. "Don't say that. Don't you dare. Where are you?" She laughed bitterly. "Does it even matter? You don't want me." I called one of her friends immediately, explained what happened. Luckily, they found her before she could do anything. She was safe. But that was the moment I knew I couldn't save her. She needed help I couldn't give. The final message I ever sent her was simple. "I hope you get the help you need, but I can't be part of this anymore. Goodbye." And then I was done. Months later, I sometimes still think about her. Not with love, not with anger, just with a strange kind of pity. Because for all the chaos she caused, for all the pain she put me through, I know she was hurting too. And maybe one day she'll heal, but I won't be there to see it. So what did I learn? That love isn't supposed to feel like chains. That if someone cheats on you once, let alone multiple times, they don't respect you. That no matter how many apologies, tears, or promises come after, trust, once broken, doesn't magically repair itself. Most of all, I learned that walking away isn't weakness. It's strength. It's choosing yourself when someone else refuses to. And to anyone listening who might be stuck in the same kind of cycle I was, don't wait for karma to save you. Save yourself. Because sometimes the only way to win against someone like that is to finally let them lose you.